because if they float up, then they're exposed to air and then mold can form. And sometimes one will float up, but you know, it's okay. We're just talking about, we're trying to keep most of it underneath. And sometimes I'll put like 2 or 3 layers. And this is nice, the horseradish will flavor it a little bit. And if I'm doing something that I don't want like much flavor to come from the leaf layer, I'll use bok choy. It doesn't have a very overpowering flavor, whereas the Swiss chard has a little bit more, so I'll just be kind of mindful of it. Okay, and then I'll, thank you, take my rock. And these have been carefully selected for size, so they fit right in. Yes, okay, and then the brine goes in. Let's just wait. Let's wait. Okay, and then so often there are still some air bubbles, and so I'll just kind of roll it around. I'll kind of bang it a little bit, and then I'll set it aside for 10 minutes. Usually in 10 minutes it'll drop another ½ inch to 1 inch, and then I'll top it off. And then so you want the water to come just up under this ridge, so you have 1 inch of air space. Okay, so I'll let that sit, but then I would, you know, wipe this down and then I cover it, and then you let it sit on the counter for 3 days. It's like 68 to 72, 73 is okay, 3 days, and then it goes into cold storage. So for me, that's the refrigerator. For some people, they might have a root cellar or an unheated garage, but I don't. So for me, it's in the refrigerator for 3 weeks. Taste it after 3 weeks. It might need to go back in, you know, so you taste it, so you're going to take out the rock, so you'll undo it, you'll take out the rock, and you smell it, you know. So what I try and do is open it up and stick my nose in it right away. So if there's any bad smell, I'm going to get it right away. So I'll know if it's a bad batch. And so I'll open it, I'll smell it. If it's still good, I'll take out the rock, I'll take out the leaf layer, which usually goes in the compost. Then I'll take a little sip of the brine. If it's not horrible, I'll take another bite. And then it's, you know, it's probably okay, 99%. And then you can eat it.
What makes it go bad?
I don't know. Like sometimes I make like 4 quarts. One is bad. It's all the same brine, the same vegetable. Maybe there was a little piece of dirt. I don't know. I do not know. I do not know.
And do you ever shred the cabbage finer than that?
Mm-hmm.
Like
sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I really shred it a lot. Quite a bit. Yeah.
And if you have a garage, obviously, I guess the refrigerator is supposed to be 38 degrees.
About 38,
like
yeah.
So if you put it in a garage which is warmer than that, it would be shorter time? Or
yes, shorter time. Shorter time.
How do you know a refrigerator degree? Like, how do you know?
Digital. I have a digital.
I'm really impressed.
Test it sometimes.
She's a scientist.
What would happen if you left it out at room temperature?
For longer than 3 days, it would move through its cycle very fast. Some people leave it at room temperature for 7 days and then they just eat it. The body ecology diet doesn't
That's the one
I think it's fine. It's just, this is just my method. You know, there are different methods. Yeah. I don't know if it will last that long if it's out for 7 days, and like it might have a life of a month, whereas this will have a life of 6 months.
The warmer temperature favors the yeast. The colder temperature favors the lactobacillus cells.
Bacteria.
So that's what shifts it.
Right, thank you. Yes.
I thought you were not supposed to have any air, and you confused me when you said to leave the air. I thought, the way my guy said, do it all the way up to the top, put the barrier, and seal it.
You have an air grommet in your system, releasing the gases that it will produce. She doesn't.
Oh, what do I have?
Oh, I have one of those
Air
things too.
An air grommet.
Okay.
Got it, okay.
I like having a scientist come.
So what is it, why, so what's, oh, because hers leaves room for the gas.
She has
Because
an
it's,
itch.
right, it's,
But I
right,
don't.
there's an inch, so it will swell up at that height,
That's
and
why
then
I
it
have
will
that
go back.
thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know why.
Now, Sharon, why do you even want it to last 6 months? I mean, do you have like a big storage area of it, or?
Well, I have a second refrigerator. My husband grows a bunch of cabbages, and he grows late season cabbages, so we're just starting to harvest them now. And so I'll pickle everything over the next month, and then we'll have it till February or March, until like we start to get some greens again.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to grow your own stuff, I mean, my latest blog posting was a month's worth of probiotics for the price of a cabbage. I mean, this is medicine. It's not just plain.
Right.
This is medicine. And people used to ferment all their vegetables, and in the harvest time. Like I read this thing about these people were having some root vegetable, and they would take the root vegetable and take the leaves and the stems, and they dig a ditch around the farming area, and they just drop all these tough leaves that they couldn't eat. And then they'd let it dry in the sun for 3 days, and they'd cover it with dirt, and then they'd come back in like February or something. Well, they're probably in the south, but anyway, and then they'd eat it. They'd have all this fermented leaf and stem that was unedible then, but now it's food. And then by that time it's ready, their food has run out. So this allows you to eat through the winter and not starve. So we don't really have that problem where we're going to starve, thank God. But I sort of like living that old way, preserving this food, having it. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So if you make a whole bunch of this, it's great if you have a second refrigerator. If you don't want to keep, if you make like a half gallon, you don't want to keep dipping in there every day. Every time you open it, you age it. You speed up the life of it. So if you have a big half gallon, something like this, take out what you need for the week, and then stuff it in the back and leave it alone. And take out what you need. Okay, yeah, so the opening and the closing, the dipping of the temperature, the rising of the temperatures. Okay.
Good idea.
So this is a plain, and so you see this is dropped a little bit. That's a little too much. It's all right. Just put that there. And so in this 3 days, very often the gases will cause the water to rise, and sometimes there's a little bit of leakage. And when I ferment these, I usually put them on a tray so it doesn't get all over the place. Sometimes the water level drops like way down, and so you might need to put another little bit of boiled salted water, sterilized salt brine again. You can't just put regular water in it. It will ruin it. Just a little bit too much. Okay. And I would usually just like dry it off, because it will become acidic, and then when you have acid coming in contact with the metal, it creates rust. So I try and stave the rust off. And that's like it. And there's still some bubbles coming up. I should probably leave it. 3 days on the counter, 3 weeks in the refrigerator. Taste it. If it's not enough, put it back in for another week or two. And I just want to say one more thing. So if the brine is like bites your tongue, if the vegetables are biting your tongue in an unpleasant way, it's probably spoiled. It should smell sweet, salty, and fresh all at the same time. And if it smells kind of funny, out. When in doubt, throw it out. Okay? So
that's because there could be some bad bacteria.
Yeah, it could make you sick. And I have tasted batches that weren't quite right, and I didn't get a stomachache. It's like, oh, that's not good. I might feel funny for a few minutes, but it's not horrible. In Sally Fallon's book, she says, if it's really spoiled, the smell will be so bad that nothing could persuade you to eat it. This is really true. I made a batch. I do know why. There was a heat wave. It's not really good to pickle in a heat wave. And so I opened this thing, and forgive me, it smelled like dog poop. It was so bad, I couldn't get it out of the house fast enough. And then I put it in the compost, and the strangest bugs came, bugs I had never seen before. So, if it's not right, out. So we made a regular cabbage, and then I wanted to make a mild kimchi.